Sometimes what a man thinks he wants is the very thing that blinds him to what he truly needs. I want you to pause for a moment and reflect on this. In a world obsessed with physical perfection, where media tells you what the ideal woman's body should look like, how many times have you dismissed someone simply because she didn't fit that narrow picture? When you look at a woman with smaller breasts, what do you really see? For so many men today, especially those of you who are hurting, disconnected, and searching for validation, you've been conditioned to think that value is tied to appearance, that bigger is better, that curves mean worth. But the truth, you've been sold a lie that keeps you shallow and lonely. You see, small-breasted women have been underestimated, over-sexualized, or overlooked entirely, and yet many of them carry a grace, a depth, an emotional richness that you will miss if you're only looking at the surface. Real intimacy, emotional connection, and meaningful love have nothing to do with cup size. And today, I'm going to challenge your perception. I'm going to invite you to unlearn what you thought made a woman desirable and show you how seeing a woman really seeing her will change your entire dating experience and emotional life. The first thing we need to face together, honestly, is this: your attraction patterns didn't entirely come from you. You didn't wake up one day and decide, I prefer this body type, or that body type turns me on more. No, love. You've been programmed by magazines you flipped through as a teenager, by ads on your feed, by movies that elevated one type of female body as ideal and diminished all others. You inherited a script you never wrote, and that script tells you that a woman's breasts define her desirability. It tells you that bigger somehow means better, more feminine, more woman, but does it really, or have you just never questioned it? When you walk past a small-breasted woman, what's going through your mind? Are you even curious about who she is? Are you present enough to notice how she smiles, how she listens, how she holds space in conversation? Or are you trapped in a shallow reflex, judging her based on a physical characteristic that says absolutely nothing about her ability to love, connect, nurture, or inspire you? Attraction, my dear men, is a complex thing. It starts with instinct, yes, but it evolves through awareness. The more conscious you become, the more sophisticated your attraction becomes. Here's what you don't realize. Many small-breasted women have a quiet confidence you're not attuned to because you've been distracted by what they lack. They know they're not society's loud poster child for feminine beauty, and because of that, many have learned to carry themselves with grace, a grace that is not loud but still magnetic. They've had to own themselves on a deeper level. When you look at them, you may see less, but I promise you, many of them feel more. They have cultivated an inner worth that isn't tied to attention, and that self-possession, that groundedness. It's incredibly attractive, if you're man enough to slow down and appreciate it. You see, appreciation is a skill. It's not just a feeling that comes and goes. It's a practice of truly seeing, truly valuing what you might otherwise dismiss. If you want to be a hive, you man, this is where you start. You don't let the world tell you what to find beautiful. You cultivate your own eyes, your own heart, your own standards. Because if your attraction is just an echo of society's programming, then you're not really choosing for yourself, you're just repeating what you've absorbed. And that keeps you trapped in shallow relationships that leave you empty. Attraction is not simply about reacting. It's about expanding. It's about giving yourself permission to appreciate depth, authenticity, presence. And when you allow yourself to appreciate a woman beyond her chest size, when you allow yourself to connect with her energy, her confidence, her soul, your whole experience of love changes. You evolve from boyish fantasies into masculine appreciation. And that evolution, That's the path to real connection. One of the most beautiful and underrated truths about small, breasted women is that many of them live outside the performance trap. Let's be real here. We live in a world where so many women feel pressured to perform femininity in exaggerated ways just to feel worthy or validated. When society places value on how much a woman can fill out her clothes, she learns quickly that her desirability is measured by how much she can attract attention. But for women who don't naturally fit that exaggerated mold, something quite profound happens. Many of them stop performing altogether because they know they can't win that shallow game. And when a woman no longer performs, what she offers is presence, pure presence. She's not there to impress. She's there to be herself. She isn't obsessed with whether every man's eyes are following her when she enters a room, and that is exactly what makes her so powerful. She's able to bring her entire self, her thoughts, her emotions, her kindness, her sense of humor, without hiding behind an exterior show. That's the kind of energy that a hive, man, a truly self-aware man, will find irresistible if he's paying attention. But that's the key, isn't it? Attention. How many times have you been on a date or out in public, but your mind wasn't really present? Maybe you were scanning the room, measuring women by the same tired checklist you've always used. Is she curvy enough? Does she fit that image I've absorbed from social media? Without realizing, you were completely missing the point. That point is connection. The ability to sit across from a woman and notice how she carries herself, how she listens without judgment, how she makes you feel safe, that's presence. So many small, breasted women show up in relationships with less artifice and more authenticity. They've had to develop that because they know the world isn't falling at their feet based on physical appearance alone. They've cultivated their mind, their emotional depth, their character. And if you're truly seeking a woman who can meet you where you are emotionally, spiritually, intellectually, you have to get out of your own head and be present with her. This is where you can begin to transform how you relate to women altogether. You stop looking for who performs best and you start noticing who feels best to be around, who brings calm to your life, who is deeply comfortable in her skin, who allows you to drop your own mask and just be human. At the end of the day, attraction that's built on performance fades fast because performance isn't sustainable. But attraction that's built on presence, on authenticity, on emotional connection, that's what stands the test of time. If you're a man who desires something real, then open your eyes to the women who are showing up as they truly are, not performing for your gaze, but inviting you into genuine presence. That's where real love begins. There's something you may not realize about small, breasted women, and it's this: many of them have learned the art of emotional resilience. Why? Because the world has underestimated them. From a young age, they've felt the subtle, and sometimes not so subtle, ways that society ranks women, measures their worth, and decides who gets attention, affection, and admiration. And when a woman knows she's being overlooked simply because she doesn't meet a certain physical standard, she's forced to go deeper. She has to cultivate qualities within herself that the world doesn't immediately see: strength, empathy, understanding, patience, self-respect. And here's what's remarkable: these very qualities are the ones most men don't realize they actually need in a partner until it's too late, until after they've chased superficial beauty and found themselves emotionally starved. When you finally mature into a man who craves not just beauty but depth, not just a show but real support, you'll realize that many of the women who've been overlooked are the ones who can love you in the most profound way. Think about it. A woman who has been underestimated knows what rejection feels like. She knows the sting of being measured by something that was never in her control. She understands the pain of not being enough in the eyes of shallow men. So when she loves differently. She brings an empathy to the relationship that is rare. She sees your pain because she's had to process her own. She's familiar with loneliness, doubt, and insecurity, and that gives her the ability to stand beside you when life gets hard. She won't just be there during your high moments, when you're strong and successful and admired. No, she'll be there when you feel small, when you feel insecure, when you feel like you're not enough, and she'll love you anyway. She'll love you not because of the mask you wear or the achievements you collect, but because she understands human vulnerability in a way that women who've always been praised for their appearance might not, and that's why you need to stop dismissing these women. When you overlook her, you're overlooking an emotional anchor you didn't even know you needed. When you choose only from the surface, you deprive yourself of a connection that goes far deeper, a relationship where you are allowed to be fully human, not just perform your masculinity. A woman who has been underestimated brings a different kind of strength to love. Her love is patient. It's quiet, it's nurturing, it's deep, but you will only experience that if you can get past your own conditioning and your own shallow standards. You need to look for women who have been overlooked, because they often know how to hold space for your soul in ways no one else can. That's the kind of relationship that heals, that nourishes, and that lasts. And that's the kind of love that's waiting for you, if you have the courage to see it. I want you to pause and ask yourself a hard but necessary question. Why do you care so much about what other people think of the woman you choose? Why does their gaze, their judgment, their silent opinions seem to matter more than your actual emotional fulfillment? Because here's the uncomfortable truth: so many men, especially today, are not actually choosing women for themselves. They're choosing women for how those women make them look in the eyes of others. It's not about how she makes you feel. It's about how you imagine she makes you appear. And this right here, my dear, is why so many of you are stuck in shallow, unsatisfying relationships. A woman's worth to you should not be measured by the validation you think her appearance will bring you. If you're still evaluating a woman's beauty based on how much public attention she gets or how your friends react when they see her, you're not dating from a place of emotional maturity. You're dating from ego. You're dating from insecurity. You're using a woman's body as a way to build up your fragile sense of self-worth. Let's be clear, this isn't love. It's performance, it's theater, and it's exhausting. Because deep down, you will always feel like you're chasing approval that never lasts. The moment you choose to value a woman for how she makes others look at you rather than how she makes you feel when you're alone together, you trap yourself in a cycle of constant comparison and dissatisfaction. But the high-value man, the man who is truly self-aware and emotionally grounded, he doesn't care about external validation. He doesn't need others to admire his woman to feel whole. He knows his value is intrinsic, not borrowed from her beauty or her body. And because he is whole within himself, he can see past superficial standards and connect with a woman who nourishes him at the soul level. Dating small, breasted women forces you to confront this ego-driven need for validation. It confronts your insecurity head on. Because society won't automatically celebrate your choice. It won't hand you admiration on a silver platter. Instead, you'll have to look inward and ask yourself, do I have the courage to love for me? Do I have the maturity to choose a partner who completes me emotionally, spiritually, intellectually, even if the world doesn't clap for it? The moment you can say yes to that, the moment you can stand confidently beside a woman who doesn't fit society's exaggerated ideals, not because she validates your ego, but because she fulfills your heart, that's when you step into real masculinity. That's when you free yourself from the chains of shallow thinking and start experiencing love on a level that is deeply satisfying, peaceful, and authentic. This is your invitation to rise above ego, to date for connection, not applause, to build love that's real, not performative. The only question left is, are you ready? You know, one of the most misunderstood things about women who don't fit society's exaggerated physical ideals, especially small, breasted women, is the way they embody sensuality. Society has convinced you that sensuality must be loud, obvious, on display. It's trained your eyes to look for push-up bras, revealing clothes, dramatic curves, and exaggerated body language. But that's not real sensuality. That's performance, a show that fades when the lights go out. Real sensuality. It's subtle, it's quiet, it's intimate, and so many small, breasted women move through the world with a kind of effortless sensuality that you may have been too distracted to notice. These women often haven't relied on their bodies as tools for external validation, so they've developed a different relationship with their sensuality, one that is natural, graceful, deeply rooted in who they are, not what they can display. But here's the key. You have to slow down enough to feel it. You can't recognize this quiet sensuality if you're rushing, if you're chasing, if you're treating intimacy like a conquest or a checklist. These women aren't trying to seduce you with spectacle. They're inviting you into something richer, presence, attentiveness, emotional depth, and shared energy. They offer you a chance to experience a slower, more soulful kind of intimacy, one where every glance means something, every touch is thoughtful, every moment is savored, not rushed. When a woman is comfortable in her own skin, when she doesn't feel the need to compensate or overcompensate, she carries an authenticity that disarms you. She gives you permission to drop your performance too. She's not measuring her worth by how much you desire her in the way society told you to desire her, and because of that, she invites you into an intimacy that feels real, grounded, present. Many men today complain about shallow encounters, about the emptiness they feel after chasing fleeting physical attraction. What they don't realize is that this emptiness is a result of their own pace, their own conditioning. When you're only looking for instant gratification, you miss out on the richness of true connection. The small-breasted woman teaches you to slow down not because she demands it, but because her energy requires it. And when you slow down, when you actually allow yourself to be present with her, you'll find that her sensuality is profound. She doesn't need to exaggerate to captivate you. Her femininity is softer but no less powerful. Her touch is gentler but more meaningful. Her energy is less performative but far more nourishing. This is the kind of intimacy that heals you as a man. It's the kind that satisfies not just your body but your heart, your mind, your soul. But it demands something of you, your presence, your patience, your emotional maturity. If you're ready for that kind of intimacy, you must learn to appreciate a woman who embodies sensuality not through spectacle but through presence. That's where love deepens. That's where real fulfillment lives. Let's talk about something that separates boys from men, something that defines the difference between shallow attraction and deep, lasting love, respect. I want you to really sit with this. Respect isn't just about saying polite words or pretending to be kind on a date. Respect is about how you see a woman, how you hold her in your heart, and how you show up in her presence even when no one is watching. And for small, breasted women, women who have often been judged, overlooked, or dismissed by the shallow standards of this world, respect is everything. You see, these women can tell immediately whether you're really seeing them or whether you're just performing interest until you can get what you want. They've lived long enough, they've experienced enough rejection, they've seen the fleeting glances that never linger, and because of that, they've learned to read intention quickly. And so when you come to her with genuine respect, not as a tactic, but as a reflection of your own emotional maturity, she feels it. She feels the difference between being objectified and being honored. And when a woman feels honored, she shows up differently too. Respect slows you down. It forces you to become present, attentive, thoughtful. It demands that you listen not just to her words, but to her silence. It challenges you to care about her as a human being, not just a body. And this isn't something you can fake. She knows the difference. When you show up with respect, you're sending a powerful message. I'm not here to compare you to some unrealistic standard. I'm not here to use you as a prop to boost my ego. I'm here because I value who you are exactly as you are. That is rare. And that is why so many men never get to experience the depth of love that small, breasted women can offer, because those women simply won't give their energy to men who don't respect them fully. But when you get this right, when you lead with genuine respect, you create space for real connection to happen. She relaxes. She lets down her guard. She begins to trust that she's safe with you, that she's valued, that she doesn't have to perform or prove herself to be worthy of your attention. And that safety is the foundation for intimacy that is deeper, richer, and more emotionally fulfilling than anything you can buy, chase, or force. This is where you learn that respect isn't just for her benefit, it's for yours too. Because as you cultivate this attitude of respect, you become more present, more conscious, more in touch with your own emotions. You stop dating reactively and start relating intentionally. And when that happens, your relationships stop feeling transactional and start feeling transformational. So, my dear men, I challenge you to embody respect, not because you're trying to win her over, but because respect is a reflection of the man you've become. A man who sees beyond the body, a man who values depth, a man who loves consciously. That's who you were meant to be. And so now we've come to this moment, this truth that you can't unhear, even if you want to. I need you to feel this deep in your chest. You have overlooked the very women who might have loved you best. While you were busy chasing an image, a body that fit some tired fantasy, a silhouette you thought would make you feel validated, there were women walking right past you who were carrying everything you claim to want: grace, presence, authenticity, emotional depth, but you couldn't see them. Maybe you were blind, maybe you were conditioned, maybe you were insecure. But none of that excuses you from this one powerful truth. Real connection, deep love, and lasting peace in relationship were never about appearance. They were about emotional intimacy, about presence, about seeing her soul, not her silhouette. And here's the most beautiful part: it's not too late. You can change the way you look at women starting today. You can deprogram yourself from shallow thinking. You can mature into a man who isn't chasing attention or public approval, but pursuing peace, connection, and something real. So I challenge you. If you've ever caught yourself dismissing a woman because her body didn't match some arbitrary ideal, stop. Take a breath, look again, see her presence, listen to her mind, feel her energy. You will find a beauty there that runs deeper than curves, a beauty that heals, sustains, and nourishes you in ways you didn't even realize you needed. If this message stirred something in you today, if you feel that pull in your chest, that little ache that says this is exactly what I needed to hear, then I want you to act on it. Right now, like this video to affirm that you're ready to see women differently. Leave a comment below and tell me what you're unlearning, what false standards you're leaving behind today. Share this video with a friend who needs this wake-up call just as much as you did. And if you're new here, subscribe. This space is for men who are ready to grow, to unlearn, to love with depth and consciousness. Because I promise you, the more present, conscious, and emotionally intelligent you become, the more beautiful your relationships will feel. This is your moment to rise. not as a man who just reacts to what society tells him to want, but as a man who leads himself with clarity, respect, and love. The world doesn't need more men who chase appearances. It needs more men who see, and that starts with you right now.